Get ready for the show that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and maybe something that'll offend the hell out of you. It's the C&D No Bull Show, the show that discusses everything from politics to racing, breaking the issues down to terms even a prima donna can understand. So keep that Tylenol handy. Here are your hosts, Chris Mize and Doug Dock.
Oh boy, I need some Tylenol.
Go ahead. I do too.
Started so we can start.
Like I always want to thank all our veterans. We couldn't do the things that we want to do in this free country so far. Thank you to the veterans. And thank you for the military serving overseas in the homeland. And all our first responders, police, fire, all the EMS, and nurses and doctors. We thank you. Yeah, shoot people. That's
even.
Well, first off, Doug, before we go, we just did a live on Sandusky Speedway, and it was about Bev Jaycox. Bev passed away last Sunday. During our show, we got that call, so we apologize. We had to break away, but that took precedence, and we're all suffering. It's the Speedway family, and our hearts go out to the Jaycox family. So, but I never got kicked off that show. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I never got booted one time. We didn't talk about politics or anything that might offend somebody, and boom, I was on the whole time. So, to continue our conversation, people, me and Doug were just talking before we come on live about the law that was passed in Ohio, the Stand Your Ground law. And
I'm okay with that. That's fine. We should have that.
Oh, to a point, you're okay with it.
Yeah, I just think there needs to be a few more qualifiers to it than just to go shooting people.
Well, if someone walks up, just ask the question again. Say what got me going here before we got on.
Okay, so let's say you're walking out of a store and somebody's breaking into your car. Can you shoot them?
No.
Okay, so let's say somebody comes up to you with a gun and says, "I want your car."
And you're in the car.
Yeah, and you have a gun.
Absolutely.
Just shoot.
Why not? The law, if you feel your life's being threatened.
But your life's not your car is. They want your car.
That ain't the point. They got a goddamn gun.
So any lawyer.
So what am I supposed to do? Say, "Excuse me, sir. Do you have that gun just for show, or are you going to shoot me if I tell you no?" Are we supposed to? We're putting ourselves right. This is the problem we had with the police. And stuff that was going on. What am I supposed to say? "Excuse me, hold on. I got to know the rules of the game before I shoot first. Are you planning on doing me bodily harm with that pistol, or?"
No. So if the guy makes an absolute threat to you, "I'm going to shoot you if you don't give me your car," there's a qualifier. Okay, now my license. But if he just comes up and said, "Give me your car," and
he qualified for being stupid when he walked up to my car and had a gun in his hand right away. I'm assuming that he's willing to take my life if I say no. Anytime someone brandishes a gun,
mm-hmm.
And this is just my opinion, okay, and how I feel can go into court. Anytime somebody would walk up to me brandishing a gun, you goddamn right, I feel my life's in danger. The old saying, it's been around for years. Don't pull a gun out unless you're willing to use it.
Yeah, but we got a whole younger generation that's never heard that.
I could give shit less about the younger generation. I ain't heard it. If they're dumb enough to walk up to my car with a gun in their hand, they're dumb enough to learn the hard way.
I am totally for this thing. I just think that there just needs to be a little bit more meat to it than just go up there and shoot somebody.
I don't.
Because what happens if you shoot the guy and then they find out that it was either a toy gun, or it wasn't even loaded.
Well, shame on them.
You're still going to get charged.
Shame on them. How do I know what, sir? Is that an airsoft pistol, or are you Barney Fife? Are you Barney Fife? Is your bullet in your pocket? I mean, come on. I was taught. Through my life, you don't. I run my mouth. This is no different. Stop and think of this. I go in. Let's say I'm in a bar, whether I'm drunk or not, and I run my mouth enough to someone, and hey, you want to go out back? Yeah, let's go. I go out back and get my ass whooped. Shame on me. I got my ass whooped. I'm not calling the cops. So I knew that if I start running my mouth, someone has a chance I'll get my ass whooped. You walk up to a person in a car and gonna take with intent of taking their car, and you got a gun in your hand, I'm sorry, you're going down. Because if you got a gun in your hand, first thing I'm thinking is you're shooting. If I say no, you're shooting. And the rule, the way I read it, correct me if I'm wrong, let's just go to a house. The way it read before is you had to retreat before you could shoot. You had to retreat and give ground to make sure your life was in danger, which means somebody comes through my front door with a gun in their hand, I had to retreat back and say, are you going to shoot me, sir? Before you walk through my door, it's like that sheriff deputy in Florida said, here's a simple fact. They walk through your door, blow them right back out the door.
Right.
This was passed. I'm surprised DeWine signed it because he promised to veto it. He promised. I'm really shocked he signed it. But two of the people that represent our area, Teresa Gavarone, our state senator, and our state representative, DJ Swearingen, backed this bill. And now Senator Gavarone's catching a lot of crap from a certain paper, and that
we should have had her. We should have had her on.
and maybe I'll reach out to her assistant next week, and maybe we will have her on this week. Next Sunday. But the same person in question it's giving her all this shit is the same one that has in the past put up everybody that had a carried concealed weapon certification in Erie County. That's wrong too, Doug.
All right. Yep.
Then he was pissed off when a guy put his address up, his home address. He was all upset about, well, what's the difference? If you have control of a paper, a news media, and you put something up like that, you should expect it back at you.
Well, same here. I mean, we have a platform that we can say anything we want. So, we'll accept anything anybody's got to say.
Yeah, your opinion matters.
I'm definitely not against the whole stand your ground thing. I'm all for that. I just seems like it's missing a piece. I'll figure it out by next week.
They ain't missing. If you walk up to my car with a gun in your hand and say you're going to steal my car, I guarantee you, we're going to have an issue. And then two people are going to show up to the scene. An ambulance and a police car, because they're going to take them away in the ambulance, and I'm going to have to go down and answer questions at the police station.
Okay. All right. So everybody's put me in my place now. Johnny Angel and Greg Miller. So
let's get to Greg Miller. Miller had something up. Greg, great comment.
Greg, I think you should come on with us. That was a pretty darn good comment. If the government isn't going to say anything to Facebook or Twitter for banning the president of the United States because they are a private business, so the government doesn't have any say in who they allow to use their platform, how can the government then turn around and have so much control over restaurants and bars for sure, but all these businesses telling them to close and what they can and can't do?
Because it's a double standard.
It is, and I know what some of that's going to be. Well, we're in a pandemic, and Facebook doesn't have anything to do with the pandemic, and I still agree. It's bullshit. It's a double standard. So we agree on that.
You're telling one private business you do what you want because you're a private business,
right?
But you turn around and telling another private business, it doesn't even have to be a restaurant or a bar.
Yeah. Take bars out of it because they get licensed by the state, so they do have to follow those licensing requirements. But a restaurant,
not even a restaurant, just look at all the different businesses that were shut down in Ohio at the beginning of this that didn't serve food. There was different business shut down.
Or the little candle shop lady that has to make somebody wear a mask in her store.
Well, here we go. I mean, if you take a look at that, Facebook can censorship anything they want. Google and the apps for Apple and all them assholes went and Parler. Now you can't even, because they don't have enough people to monitor Parler. Is that
Parler?
Yeah, that's it. New thing like Facebook where you can want to say what the hell you want without censorship.
Parler bans pushes Apple may pull Parler.
Yeah, so they're all saying no, you can't Google search Parler no more.
And why is that?
Why? My opinion, I'll tell you my opinion, but you can tell me a fact first if you want, and I'll still give you my opinion.
Well, I'm trying to figure out why they're doing it. I don't know.
Because they can't control what the hell's being said.
They can't control anything here either.
Oh, on Facebook? Bullshit. Go ahead and put some shit up on Facebook that doesn't meet their agenda and look what happens.
Okay. Got it.
They yanked a lot of shit off of Trump. I believe they're yanking a lot of the videos down that were in a Capitol Hill rush that I'll get into next. We got all kinds of shit we can talk about tonight.
And that's why I said there's just so much stuff that's going on.
Greg Miller, in my opinion, right now, has the question of the year. How can you say it's a private business on this platform, but turn around and so, because one of the things that Biden said when he is sworn in on the 20th is a mandatory mask will go in through the USA. And the other thing his chief medical advisor is wanting to push is a 4 to 6 week shutdown through the whole country. So now you're going to tell business they got to shut down. And the pissed up part of that, Doug, is they say key things in that. That chief medical advisor says we can borrow enough money to pay every person that's off work for them 4 to 6 weeks. What about the small business? There's no plan that's been laid out yet for small that we've seen in the public. If we have, let me know. Where the hell are they going to go back to work after 4 to 6 weeks? Because mom and pop can't afford another 6 week shutdown.
I agree with you. I agree.
So that alone, that question right there. Sorry, Greg, it'll probably never go any further than here because certain media outlets won't let it. It is what it is. It's a bunch of bullshit. You had the question here. Doug read that question that you had to me, and it lit me up.
That's good.
Yeah, like that.
Anything I can do to help.
Anything you can do to help.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the president banned from Facebook and Twitter, and I think Twitter for a lifetime now as of today. Facebook, I think, until after the inauguration.
Yeah, he'll never get back on. You think they're going to let him back on? I don't. He's in Facebook jail for life.
Well, I'm not sure many people follow him there. Twitter was a big 87 million people following him.
Well, Lord forbid, And here's the bullshit. Let's just go into this real quick, too. So we all know what happened this week. They rushed the Capitol.
You're kidding.
They got into the Capitol. Now you got assholes out there saying, and hear me out on this. You got these people saying in Washington right now, oh, that's the 25th Amendment. He broke it. He provoked that. No, he didn't provoke it. He didn't never once say, and trust me, I don't agree with everything the man says, believe me. But he never one time said, period, go down there and rush the Capitol. He said, go down and protest. You have the right to protest. So they're saying that broke 25th Amendment. Okay, let's say it did, Doug. Then our president-elect, our vice president-elect, and our Speaker of the House right now should go out the door on the 25th Amendment. Because when they were burning up this whole country, protesting and destructing property, and people were getting killed throughout the summer, Biden, Harris, and Pelosi are all on record, and many more, but them three are all on record of saying they support the protest. Protest, it's your right to protest. So what's the difference? I want to know what the difference is, Doug, and I'll never get that answer. The difference is whatever they want it to be. And the other thing that I got an issue with, now all the media outlets are making us, well, it's either the far right extreme Trumpsters, or it's Antifa, or it's Black Lives Matter. You know, this was staged, this, that, or the other. Now they're making it the black-white thing again. You know, Good Morning America was making it a black versus white thing again. And you know, I don't give a shit who it was. My question is, how did they get in? Supposed to be one of the most secure places. They got sharpshooters on the roofs and everything all the time. How did they get in?
Did you watch some of the clips where they actually were right up with the police?
Yeah, the police let them in.
Yeah, and they just kind of walked away, and you don't know what was said to them. Like, first of all, if you've got 20 people standing there at the door, 20 police officers, and you got a mob of 1,000 people, what do you tell your guys? Do you say just stand your ground and just shoot till you're out of bullets?
Listen, yeah.
So how many bullets do you think they have?
You got a lot on them roofs. Do you think it was just the Washington police that was Washington D.C. police that was there?
Police. The Washington police weren't there.
Oh, who was it?
It was the Capitol Police.
Well, them. Okay, and that police chief resigned.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Isn't that
because
funny?
He probably told them to get out of the way because you're not going to stop 3,000 people from rushing you.
Let me tell you what. In today's world, yeah, you shoot the first 40 that come there, I guarantee the other ones back off. You know, in my opinion only.
It would have escalated it.
In my opinion only. When you rush Capitol Hill or Washington or whatever, you're committing the highest crime in the United States, and it doesn't matter. You are going in with a domestic terrorist in your thought. I don't care whatever deadly force should be used. I don't care if it's Trumpsters, Antifa, Black Lives Matters, Little Sisters of the Poor down the street. You rush Capitol to break in, you're committing treason in my eyes, and you need to be shot.
And I don't disagree with that, but when you got, and I'm pretty sure there was more than 1,000 people. What do you think's going to happen when you take out the first 40 and you're out of bullets? Hold on, everybody. We're out of bullets.
I guarantee you they would have retreated real quick.
I don't think so. I think they had it in their mind. They were.
They got in the building. Look at the videos. They get in the building and they're like, "Oh shit, what do we do now?" They're picking up garbage where they knocked up garbage cans. Come on, you know. The question that should be asked in this United States is, how did they get in? How did this happen? Doesn't matter who. And I'll tell you right now, I'll say it right on here, and I'll catch a lot of shit over it probably. If Trump...
I'm catching all the shit. You're doing fine.
You're catching the shit. How?
Yeah. I'm only, doing the whole, what's that called?
Debating me,
No,
looking at the other side.
yeah.
Here's the thing. If Trump, they had clear evidence, not this bullshit evidence Nancy Pelosi and all them jackasses bring up, clear evidence that he had something to do with it, then he should be tried. He should be tried. If they find that the left side had something, the people that had something to do with it, they should be tried. It's treason. It's treason. To me, it's domestic terrorism, but you get people to debate that. How do you know that some of these whack jobs that are out there ain't sided up with ISIS or something? They just let them walk in? How do you know they didn't? They're going after the 72 virgins or whatever the hell it is.
I have to agree.
Boom. That's the end of that.
Well, first of all, here's in my mind, I can't figure out why those that are on the roof weren't armed with tear gas, for one thing, or who knows what they were armed with? A gun? Did they even have a rifle?
If they're on a roof, they're sharpshooters. They got rifles.
So wouldn't you think that they would arm them with tear gas too? Just because they seen this, this didn't just like appear. They seen them coming down the street. They should have been a little bit more prepared.
Here, you know what? It's like I put up on a Facebook post. The CIA can tell you when a goddamn flea is going to land on a camel's ass and bite it a week or two before it happens. And our FBI and CIA and all them didn't know anything about this. I don't buy that shit. I don't buy it at all. I'm not saying it's left side, right side. I don't give a shit.
I'm not either. But when you see a group of, I think there's like 3,000 people, wouldn't you be a little bit more prepared for what are they going to do?
I'd be on the radio.
What?
I'd be on the radio up on top of the roof saying, hey,
we got trouble coming.
We got an issue coming.
Right.
But they didn't. They opened the gates.
All right, hold on. Let's bring Greg in. He's been debating me all along the way here. Hi there, Greg.
What's up, Greg?
Can you hear us?
Uh-oh. Can't hear.
You got audio?
Greg.
You definitely have an issue, Mize.
There you go.
Wait, can you hear us all right?
Hey, Mize definitely has an issue with me in the room. Yeah, man.
Oh, Greg Daniels. Greg Daniels from Georgia. Can you hear me okay, Greg? Audio. All right, man. How you been, dude? Just so you know, Doug, little history.
Yeah.
When I went to South Georgia Motorsports Park in 2007, Greg was my tech guy down there. Awesome. I never got him in any shit or anything. It never happened.
That's hard to believe. That's hard to believe.
It cut out. Your video cut out. Greg.
Come back.
Greg got kicked off Facebook for a while.
Did he?
Yeah, he had I can't remember the name of it right offhand. Didn't fit the agenda, and they were, against some of the shit going on, and boom, he got taken down. He had to start a new one. So I don't know what he take him off and bring him back in, Doug. But anyways, it doesn't matter, Doug. When you take an oath as an officer or anybody in Capitol Hill, I'm pretty sure somewhere in the oath it says defend your ground, and
stand your ground.
Stand your ground. You know damn well that this could happen, and I don't know. There's an order come out that said don't fire.
I believe that was probably true because your Capitol Police Chief wouldn't have resigned had he given the order to stand your ground.
Yeah, he resigned Probably will live good the rest of his life, and just like the dude in Nashville,
And
quickest case ever solved.
they said one of them were killed in that, one of the
One of the
officers.
police. That's what they said. They said a woman was killed too. A woman was killed because she fell. Is Greg trying to come back on?
No, Kevy, there's the link. All you gotta do is click on it.
Kevy's coming on?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. So, when it comes down to it, we go to bed the other night and down in Georgia. That's why I was hoping Greg could stay on. It was red, 20,000 votes ahead on the red side. You wake up 6 in the morning, it's 15,000 votes on the blue side, just overnight again. So now we've lost control of the Senate. We've lost control of the Congress, and we've lost control of the White House. And that's fine. It is what it is. But I see it going in a bad direction. Craig, can you hear us now?
Hey, man, I'm back. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I was trying to work on my computer and listen on my phone, and it just wasn't working. But yeah, mine's never got me in any trouble whatsoever.
No, I can only imagine.
Greg, check this, check that. You know what? Fuck them.
Yeah. He told me one time, he said, I knew I was hiring a tech man. I didn't know I was hiring a bouncer too.
Greg, what's your, you had a site up, Coyote,
Coyote Survival.
Right. And did or did not Facebook mess with you a little bit on this?
Well, they messed with me over some stuff I posted. In fact, I can't even go live right now on Facebook. I have 5 more days. I can chat on Facebook, I just can't go live. But anyway, I'm working to get a StreamYard account up like you guys is going, and I'm going to be starting a show on Coyote Survival.
Well, what's your take on this whole thing, Greg?
Well, I thought about this thing ever since Wednesday, and I was under the same. I had the same idea you guys did. The guys stormed the Capitol. They were treasonous, this, that, and the other. But then I've been thinking the what they put us through for the past year, 2 years, whatever. I mean, it has gotten worse and worse and worse. They have taken this COVID-19 deal, and they have taken a lot of our rights away. Things that we used to take for granted that we could do, we can't do anymore. They're threatening more and more stuff. So I'm thinking that, one, when the thing started in front of the Capitol, there were probably just a few people who actually started the thing, and the crowd got revved up and, yeah, let's go do it, blah, blah, blah. But if John Adams, George Washington, John Hancock, people like that had been in that crowd, what do you think they would have done? And here's my purpose for asking. When our country started, before the Revolutionary War, all of our founders were lawbreakers.
Oh,
they had to break the laws in order to get the things done that they wanted done.
And I agree with that. I agree with that, Greg. But my whole thing, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know which side went. You're getting mixed. Everything's being mixed. We're told bullshit from one news media, bullshit from another, and they're taking a question away of, okay, let's just say it was Trump supporters that went in there. Okay. My thing is how was that how did we allow this as a country, one of the most secure places, to have this happen?
Well, you've seen the photos. They let them in.
In my opinion, they should have been shot. The minute they crossed the line to rush the Capitol, they should have been shot, period. And that might be kind of crude or a little extreme, but once they crossed the barriers and rushed that Capitol, in my mind, they were committing a hell of a big crime.
So let me ask you a question. You've seen what happened in Georgia, okay?
Yeah.
Our Secretary of State is rotten to the core. Our governor is evidently on China's payroll, no doubt about it. I mean, these guys will do absolutely nothing for us. In Atlanta, which a lot of people, when they hear me say I'm from Georgia, they automatically think of Atlanta, areas like that. Well, you know the difference. It's like a whole different state here.
Yeah, down south, down in the deep Bible Belt, they call it.
Exactly. And it's got nothing to do with Atlanta. Well, the precincts in Atlanta are the ones that claim they had water main breaks and this, that, and the other, and send everybody home. And then all of a sudden they pull out ballots and they go to count. Now, with this being said, I'm not a Trump bot. There's a lot of things about Trump that I don't like. I don't like his brazen attitude, things like that. But with just given the climate of our political system, we elect people, they go to Washington, they walk out the door, they tell us one thing, then you see them when they don't know they're on camera, they're high-fiving each other, hugging each other, going out drinking. They're not doing anything for us. They're giving us lip service. So with that being said, how do we stop it? How do we get this country back?
You want my opinion, I'll give it.
Sure.
As of right now, and you might disagree in other people, but I know our constitutional rights are being pushed right to the limit. The amendments are being pushed to the limit. But with that being said, with the election processes that went on in Georgia, Arizona, and a few other places, Pennsylvania, Michigan, we haven't proved that any of the amendments have been broke yet. Okay, we haven't. Our Constitution's right there at the limit, but nobody stepped over. Now, once we prove, in my opinion, once we prove that the amendments have been broke, the Constitution's been broke, this has been broke, then we have every right to take Washington back over. And that's my opinion. But until then, we got to act like a civilized nation. And rushing our capital isn't acting like a civilized nation. And and I agree with what you're saying, Greg. How far do we get pushed? We're spoon-fed right down our throats for 4 years. Our election process, the worst it's ever. It's corrupt. We can't trust it. But in the last 2 months, everybody wants us to believe it's the most secure it's ever been. And the problem is people are believing that, and it ain't.
Here's the deal. Here's my opinion on it, and my opinion is coming from what we've seen on the ground here. Okay, our system, the way the United States works, is if an election is corrupt, your path to proving it is going through the court system, showing them what you've seen, things like this. It's not that it won't pass our court systems. Our court systems won't even hear it. They turn it down before it can get there.
I'm glad you brought that up because they tried to take it to federal, and they started. If you want to bring Kevy in, you can, Doug. They tried to bring it into federal. They tried to bring it into federal court. Kavanaugh and them are getting just. Kevy, you're gonna have to turn some volume down or something. Whoever.
I'm just gonna mute you for right now.
Yeah, just hold on, Kevy. We're gonna meet you.
Hey, and that's probably another guy you never got in trouble.
Yeah, well, that's the owner's son of the racetrack. Yeah, I've gotten him in trouble. Trust me, we've gotten in trouble together. But Kavanaugh and all them are getting just ridiculed because the federal wouldn't hear the cases in Arizona or where have you. The problem is they can't go outside the law in the federal Supreme Court, and the law reads that's got to be handled state to state.
I'm talking about state courts.
I know, but what I'm saying, even though if the state court throws it out, the Supreme Court federal can't hear that case because it's a state issue. I'm talking federal.
Okay, here.
Now,
let me back up and tell you something here. This is Georgia. I can't speak for Michigan or Pennsylvania. In Georgia, our Secretary of State made a deal with a group of people that was, I'm trying to think of her name, that ran for governor last election, and she just barely lost. She almost won, okay? But she cut a deal with those guys saying whose votes could be counted. They were going to open it up for more mail-in ballots. The mail-in ballots didn't have to make them by a certain time. Lots of different things that made it where once they figured out what South and Central Georgia had done, that's when you see them open up the suitcases and start counting more votes. Okay, the same lady who made the deal, the same one, I wish I could remember her name right offhand, but she'll be running for governor again in 2 years. But anyway, the same one that was running for governor that lost by narrow margin, she's an African-American woman, okay? She went to court again, I think it was this past week, just before the runoff election that we just had, and said that we didn't have to match signatures with the votes, and there was a lot of different things that the judge agreed with her on and said that, no, we can't do this. You want to know who the judge was? Her sister. Okay? Our system is broken, and it's broken to the point where there's those of us who don't know what to do. They don't know how are we going to solve this problem. And you know, you've been in South Georgia. You know how we solve problems.
yeah, I do. They ran me right out of South Georgia, Doug.
Yeah, but that wasn't me.
I know. I was a Yankee.
Yeah. Hell,
let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. South Georgia, where I was at, where Greg lives, around the Valdosta, Georgia area. If anybody's out there, it's one of the nicest places you ever want to go to. I love that area. I joke when I say they ran me out. That place was beautiful. My wife's walking out now. She'll tell you she loved the area. So I love that area, Greg. I know how them people are, and they're not going to take it, and I get that. But the problem is, we as citizens can't go outside the law yet. I mean, as far as the Constitution reads, we can take back the government.
It starts with voting.
But we can. But the voting.
Listen, what's going on is everybody keeps voting these people back in, and then nobody wants to step up and run. So now you got families running, and that's when it all turns south.
Oh, the voting systems, for a better term, my language, I don't care. We've got this claim. The voting system's fucked up right now.
Yeah, and
bad.
So with the voting system being messed up, and you take key states like Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, how are we ever going to vote change?
Well,
how are we going to do it?
Let's get a millennial's opinion here. Let's see what the millennials have to say.
He hates that word.
Why do I gotta get classed in with them? I ain't over here drinking no foo-foo drink or nothing.
You're in that age group. What's your take on this, Kevin?
On the voting or on them storming the house?
Both.
I got mixed emotions on them storming the government pretty much and trying, I guess, pretty much take it over. But that's what happens. I mean, so you got all these people protesting against people shootings. You know, I get the race thing and all that, but people protesting with all cops shouldn't be able to shoot anybody or all this other stuff. And then you're up there while these people are protesting, verge of rioting, I guess, and you're asking why they ain't shooting. It's no different than what was going on in was that Portland?
Yeah, but I was in disagreement. I was clearly in disagreement when they took over the chop zone. What was that? A certain precinct. I was in disagreement that we didn't storm them.
No, we didn't storm them, but the whole thing is that you're going to complain about cops shooting people, and then when it's the other side doing it, you're calling for them to start shooting.
I never complained.
Then you got the left that refused to renounce all the fucking rioting and burning down of all these cities. You got the same people yelling at Trump ain't on air yelling at his people.
Now, let's go from there. Greg, they're trying to enact the 25th Amendment on Trump.
If he had something to do with it, I agree with it.
Listen, here's my point. Right now, they don't.
But the reason they want to do the 25th Amendment on him, they're trying to discredit him for the 2024 election.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
The thing, if they do pass it and they do kick him out of office, which is pointless, what does he have? 2 weeks left?
And he's got 10 days.
He has 10 days left. If they
hear me out on this. Because he said, yes, we should protest. You guys go down there and protest. They're blaming him for what happened. And that's what they're trying to enact the 25th Amendment.
Then the whole left side should get blamed for Portland and what was that place in Wisconsin?
I can't remember right now.
You're exactly right, Kevin.
I can tell you this. Then the 25th Amendment needs to be brought in on Biden, Harris, and Pelosi to start with, because they all
like 300 other people too.
I'm just saying them top three. They all said that they should protest when they're burning cities and everything.
So, I remember watching a video. It was an African American lady out of Congress, and she was holding some rally. I believe it was like at a gas station or something like that. But she told the people out there that was at her rally that if you see one of those people from those administrations, you should get in their face, tell them they ain't welcomed here. That's exactly what the Trump supporters, that's exactly what they did. They went in there to tell them that they ain't welcome here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Doug. You probably know. I believe that was Maxine Waters.
Yes.
I mean, right?
Something,
right?
It was Maxine Waters that was, if I can remember what she. But regardless, my whole thing is this: our question should be not falling for the media bullshit. Our question should be, how did this happen?
This happened because they pushed for all these cops to have their basically right to handle situations. This is what it's going to look like if they do all these police reforms. Defund the police. This is what it's going to look like.
I'm glad you brought that up, because let's back up 3 weeks ago. And the media didn't cover this, only a certain part. And this is fact. Joe Biden met with the NAACP, Al Sharpton, and a few others. All the police reform that you're talking about that Joe Biden pushed in his campaign, he pretty much told them 3 weeks ago, yeah, I'm not doing that. Where's the outcry for that? Where is the outcry? The thing of it is, Greg, I feel sorry for you guys down there, because one thing I will say about Georgia, in the area that you're at, is there's a lot of good people. honest people, good people, God-fearing people, and you're getting it shoved right up your ass.
Absolutely, we are, man. I mean, we want to succeed from Atlanta. Basically, it's it's really ugly around here, and it's getting worse. It's I don't know what the answer is. I'm not in agreement with them storming the Capitol, but yet I understand why they did it,
Oh,
and they're frustrated. And there was a lot of people from Georgia there. In fact, one of the people that was locked up, what they say, Antifa, blah blah blah, was the ones doing it. No, one of them was a Trump bot because they're from right here in Valdosta. So I know them, and they're in jail.
My question is how come we find all these people a week later that stormed the Capitol, but everyone's burning down cities and nobody can find any of them?
Can't find any of them, and not going to find them, and don't want to find them.
But we can have 15 FBI agents investigate the Talladega situation with Bubba.
Yep. Over the garage door cooler.
Yeah.
15. We can determine in Nashville 2 days later that it was this guy, DNA proved it, case closed.
And then we find out 3 weeks later with the deal in Nashville that the FBI actually did have info on the guy. They had been told he was making explosives in that motorhome by his girlfriend and by their attorney. And they go knock on the door, and because nobody answers, they go home and close the file. What sense does that make?
But the case is closed now.
It's closed now for sure.
I showed up to Dad's, and I got a notification on my phone that people were breaking into the federal buildings and all this other stuff. So I sat down and I turned it on. Daddy, oh, that's pretty, baby. It's pretty.
Oh yeah.
But people were.
I thought you brought Dad another Red Bull.
So I turned the TV on, sat there and watched the entire thing. It was on Fox, but sat there and watched the entire thing. And about 10 minutes into it, they said National Guard has been alerted. They're on their way. I sat there for an hour and a half easy. It takes the National Guard an hour and a half to get there.
Yeah, there was a delay on the Washington police too, and they're there. They were there. I mean,
that's the Capitol.
And it took
the National Guard has to be called. Those guys are regular working stiffs like everybody else. When they get called up, they have to leave work. They have to go get their equipment and get there. Yeah, I can see why it would take them a while.
Well here's the next question.
There was a delay in the Washington police too.
I believe that Trump supporters, and I want to believe that there were patriots or protesters, whatever you want to call them. But what if that was a terrorist organization, like a different time from now, like trying to hit the White House? It's going to take your National Guard an hour and a half to get there because you can't call the army in because they look like civilians.
Well, the National Guard should have been on call.
Well, hear me out on this. The military's there.
What's that movie called Olympus Has Fallen?
Olympus Has Fallen. The military is there. Trust me, there's military around that White House and Capitol.
They can't use them on civilians, though.
Civilians that wait, Greg. When they're attacking the Capitol, they can be used.
I don't think they can.
They should be able to.
You become a domestic terrorist once you start that.
Yeah, but somebody's got to decide that you're a domestic terrorist. I mean, it don't just happen just like that. It's just like our votes don't get counted just like that.
They wait.
They found out how long
Kevin.
it took for the National Guard to arrive, as long as they represent a fucking civilian. Which is about how long.
At the end of the day,
way too long, I think.
At the end of the day, we look like a bunch of monkeys doing a football, right, Greg? You know,
that's what I heard on the radio before.
I've heard that.
We look like a bunch of monkeys fucking a football to every other country.
Let me tell y'all a quick one, right quick. One time, Chris called an impromptu drivers meeting after the race had already started. Stops the race, calls all the drivers and crews together. They're all over there, and Mize is just cussing up a storm. And he turns around and one of the pastors is there, and he says, "Excuse me, Pastor, for my language." And he says, "I got a radio, Mize. I hear it all the time."
Yeah, Pastor Bass, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That happened to me at Mansfield too.
Yeah. So after Mize left, the new track manager we got, all we had to do was record the message because it was the same one at every driver's meeting. We just played it on the way to the track.
What do you want, Kevin?
I said, at the end of the day, though, you are right. All these countries are looking at us like we're stupid as hell. And what makes it worse is that this whole country is, there's only two ways that you can really look at what happened. The right way and the left way. I'm just saying right from the side, not that it's 100% correct, but, you know, the country ain't going to get, you guys ask how we should go about fixing it. Well, step one is that we need to fucking unite, come together, and realize that we're all fucking Americans. And then something like that maybe would make a difference. Right now, all it did was push the right further right, the left further left, and then there's this big median of people's opinions don't mean a shit.
I can tell you this. Every single person that's in our Congress or Senate has been crooked at one time or another to get there. You don't go in with a net worth of 500,000 and serve the country for 12 years or whatever and come out with a net worth of 10 million. So, you know, it's Trump, I believe, is the only president. And Greg, I'm with you. I don't agree with everything he says. Trust me. There's times I'd like to reach through and go, "What? Yeah, shut up."
Yeah,
you know.
Be quiet.
Yeah. I mean, but he never took a pay. He never took one bit of pay. He went in with a net worth of whatever, and he's going out millions lower than what he went in. Now,
I have a feeling that between all of our past presidents and the one that was just elected, he loves this country more than any of them. Now, he may have a weird way of showing it, but I think that the decisions that he made were for a good. They were decisions that he thought was best for America.
I agree with you. I do agree with that. You'll have people say no, but I agree 100% that Trump had the United States citizens in mind, every American in mind.
Yeah.
How he went about it sometimes was
suspect.
Yeah. You know,
he went about it like a common person would handle an issue in that situation.
Like he's not handling it at the racetrack.
Yes.
Well,
he would make a great assistant to Chris Mize.
Right.
Yeah. Down here, we're big into pecan farming. Okay. My old boss was one of the biggest in the area. And when Trump started putting the tariffs on China was one of the biggest buyers of our pecans. I mean, they were huge. They left in containers headed to China like nobody's business. Well, China started buying them from Mexico. We got some pecan farmers around here that are hurting.
I believe that.
Doug, these guys went out and put their own cleaning plants on their farms because they were selling so many.
One of the first things I learned in Georgia, Doug, down in South Georgia, is I ordered a piece of pecan pie.
How you say the word? I was just going to say that. So
I went down. I'll never forget it. I think I was in Rick's, Greg. And hey, Ira, I said, I'll take a piece of pecan pie. And she looked at me, what? And I said, I'll take pecan. She goes, you're not from around here, are you? And I said, no. And she goes, we call it pecan. How do you say it? Pecan or
Pecan.
pecan pie. Yeah. I'm like,
you don't
okay.
say you don't say pop down there either.
No, soda.
Yeah.
Oh,
It actually calls pop soda and annoys the hell out of me.
my granddaddy always called it a soda water.
Yeah. But the reality of this is I mean, we spent most show on Capitol Hill. Craig, down in Georgia, what's your law on stand your ground?
You can stand your ground here. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
So if a guy walks up to you,
Florida's even easier.
If a guy walks up to you and you're in your car and he has a gun in his hand and he tells you he wants your car,
is your life in danger?
Is your
If your life
danger?
is in danger, yes.
He wants your car, not you.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter. He's got a gun.
Yeah, and I'm different from a lot of Southerners. I know that's hard to believe, but I would have a hard time shooting somebody. In order for me to actually shoot them, my family would have to be in danger. Then I wouldn't have any problems whatsoever.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with the stand your ground. I agree with that, but I think there needs to be just something added to that, because you don't want to just shoot somebody just because you think. But
okay, let's put Greg in a different situation then. He's in a minivan. Let's say
it's a knife.
No, let's say Greg's in a minivan.
You wouldn't, if the guy had a knife and he was trying to take your minivan, no, it would never fly.
But if he broke into your house?
If he broke into your house, he's dead.
Yeah.
And they will tell you, law enforcement here will tell you that if something happens, drag them further into your house.
not that sheriff from Florida. He says they come into your house, blow them right back out the door. But no, Greg, Doug, hold on. Greg's in his minivan with his kids, wife, and a guy walks up to the van with a gun in a hand. I want your van. Now it's a different situation. He's going to shoot him.
With a what? Knife?
No, a gun.
A gun. If he's going to shoot you, it's a different story.
Well, how do you know if he is or not?
Well, you don't know.
That's my point. Is a guy's ballsy enough to walk up to your car with a gun in his hand, showing the gun. What am I going to ask him? Sir, are you going to shoot me?
There's two different things. If the kids are in the van, yeah, no question about it. If it's just me, I'm going to try some different things.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And there are ways to disarm people. Just because a crook's got a gun don't mean he knows how to use it and he knows how to defend himself.
Well, I'm going to be under the assumption that he does know how to use it and he's willing to shoot me.
But remember,
until I find out, I'm going to take necessary action.
There's open carry. So, if he has a gun strapped to his side and he comes up and he wants your van, are you going to shoot him?
Fuck yeah. Why wouldn't I? I don't care. Open.
Strapped to his side?
Yeah. See, I wouldn't either.
Well, I'd wait till he grabbed for it and then.
It'd be the old West then, buddy.
Right. They can
shame on you. I was pointing mine at you, buddy, from the inside of that car. You grabbed us. Sorry. I'm not Doc Holliday.
Yeah, exactly.
They consider a knife a weapon in certain crimes. So would you shoot somebody with a knife?
If they're coming at me, goddamn right.
Really?
I'm getting old. I am not agile.
It all depends on the situation. I'm just going to have to say.
I agree.
If a guy's rushing me with a knife, yep. Sorry, you brought a knife to a gunfight, pal.
Maybe I watch too much TV and I see all this stuff.
I'm going to court and you're not.
where somebody
dead man can't. Oh, he's breathing. Bam. Dead man can't testify.
I'm gonna wait till the first lawsuit comes out. We'll see how it plays out.
Listen, I give in Ohio, I give the politicians that pushed us, as being one of them, the Swearingen, our state representative, and our state senator Gavarone. I give them all the credit in the world, and for a paper to ramrod them and put everybody's name that has CCW in a county, and that's whatever. They got a right to their opinion. It's the media. We expect nothing less nowadays, but it's still bullshit.
Our paper's not big enough to put all those names.
Well, I didn't think ours was either, Greg, but here we are.
It's tiny.
But it's listen, your Second Amendment right's still in place. You come into my house, the minute you break through that door, you've put mine and my family's life in jeopardy. You're going
in the house is a whole different story.
Well, in the house, when you get in the yard and all that, then it's a whole different. But you break into my house, and you the minute you broke in, you threatened. My life's in danger. You didn't break into my house to come say hi or hey man, you're late for work. Time to get up. You're breaking in with intent. That ain't good, and you ain't gonna make it back out.
When was that in the paper, Chris?
I know he had it in a while back. A couple years ago, he had it in, and I was told recently, I'm not sure, but he had it in a while back, and he's really ramrodding Gavarone bad over this, and Gavarone made a comment about what's going on federally, and he ramrodded her. You shouldn't worry about what's going on federal. You should worry about what's going on in the state. And what goes on federal affects the state, whether it's Ohio, Georgia, anywhere. What goes on up in Washington does affect the state of Ohio, and it's a witch hunt on Teresa Gavarone, which I think is totally wrong, and I anticipate that same witch hunt to go after DJ here soon too.
Well, I'm fixing to have to go. I've got things I've got
Greg.
to do. But
Greg,
before I leave, I want to leave you guys with one suggestion. When it comes to all this political crap, go plant you a garden, get you some food put in your cupboard, get you some medical supplies, and let the rough side drag, buddy, because it's coming.
It is coming, Greg. Greg, it was good seeing you even on here. Dude, you're a good guy. You're
a good guy too, Mize, and I
put you in some situations on the racetrack I'm sure you didn't like before, but hey, I miss it down there. Tell all them guys down there I said hi, would you?
I will. Y'all have a good night.
All right.
Thanks, Greg. Good dude right there. You've heard me actually talk about him, tech guy in Georgia.
Yep.
So,
two things from me. One is I was embarrassed by everything that happened there at the Capitol. Just embarrassing. And the second thing is I have met up with a friend. A friend requested me about 4 or 5 years ago. And I think it was by mistake. And he's from India. And he's a 20-something. And we just had communicated a little bit back and forth. But he sent me a message the other day and said that he asked about the Capitol and what happened. And he said, our country's concerned about U.S. And I said, why? And he said, your U.S. is like a big brother. And when the big brother is in trouble, we're in trouble. And I never thought about that. And then we started talking about the vaccine. And he said, we don't get the vaccine here till the 16th of January. And he said, waiting on the U.S. to push it out to see what happens with it and how people react to it. And and I asked him how the government took care of them during the pandemic, and he said, because I told him about stimulus and all that. He says they did not give money; they gave wheat, rice, and something else. Just like food items that you could get to get through the pandemic. How different things are. How and you never think about, like, India is sitting there watching their television, watching everything go down. Now, he didn't have all the facts. They just reported that it was stormed. The Capitol was stormed. It was overtaken. They didn't know that they were Trump supporters. They didn't know any groups or anything like that. It was just that our people were attacking us.
Third world country shit.
Third world countries thinking we're attacking ourselves, and we're going to fail. We're going to fall at some point, and that's going to affect them. And I never gave that a thought.
Doug, I don't have a problem with us taking government back. Once our constitutional rights, our amendments, we can show that they are broken. The government isn't doing the job that our forefathers laid. Because it is in the Constitution, we the people can take the government back if they start breaking constitutions and going outside the line. We haven't. We're there. We're at that line, but we haven't. We're not crossed it yet.
Okay. On Friday, he messaged me at 9:42 p.m., which has got to be early Saturday morning for them. He said, finally, Biden won the election. Are you happy? Or you wanted Trump? And he said, to be honest, I also wanted Trump as a president. They found out Friday who our president was going to be. That was news to them.
Well, it is what it is, We'll move forward, and I thought it was a pretty decent show tonight. I don't know how many people are watching. We'll talk about it afterwards, but I want to thank Kevy for coming on. Greg Daniels from down around Valdosta, Georgia.
I like to hear the younger views, because they're the ones going to take over eventually.
Yeah. And then I also want to thank Greg Miller.
Yep.
For that comment, Greg.
This whole conversation.
And Greg Miller, if you're watching, I kind of want to bring you on next week. And
he said something about he doesn't make good. What did you say, Greg? He's not a very good speaker.
He'll be all right. I'll get talking to you, Greg. You'll be fine. So, want to thank everybody for watching. Whoever's watching, whoever watches, hopefully this stays up. We didn't play no music tonight.
Right. Music is a bad thing here.
For everybody that's watching, that's involved in racing, Bev J. Cox's showing will be from 4 to 8 at Faith Memorial Church on Strub Road Tuesday night. The funeral will start at 11 at Faith Memorial Church. We'll leave there and we'll do the last lap at Sandusky Speedway, and it'll close out there. So keep the J. Cox family in your prayers. Going through a tough time in the Sandusky Speedway family. Other than that, Doug, I got nothing.
Me neither. Go Browns.
Go Browns.
They're coming on here any moment.
And Mark posted today that picture of 2 sandwiches. Look what I made for my wife. I said, my wife's I'm gonna cook tonight too. She just got home from the roadhouse.
Here you go. I'm cooking tonight.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks everybody. God bless you. God bless the United States right now. Thank you.